Hi, this is Toby, and today I want to show you the Amptweaker Defizzerator. So this little pedal here might actually be the solution for your fizz problems. Yeah, at least it was for me. Maybe a lot of you people actually played an amp in the past that was like really fizzy and you weren't really able to dial out the fizz. Okay, it's at least one of my problems. And this is a little passive EQ that's especially designed to get rid of your fizzy frequencies, which is really nice. So you can just drop it into your FX loop and then you can actually select 3 different frequencies. You know, the one that fits to the fizz noise of your amp the most, and then you can just turn this little knob and dial it out. It's really great. You know, I was using it especially for playing amps in bedroom volume, because when you do not crank amps, you know, you don't have so much compression. You don't have so much compression going on in the power section, and then, you know, mostly, or, you know, sometimes it appears that especially on high gain amps you have a lot of fizz, and with this you can actually remove it without taming the treble. This is really great, because in some amps it works if you turn down the presence knob, but I was measuring a couple of presence knobs, so the frequency range where it actually takes action. The problem is that sometimes, or on many amps actually, when you turn down the presence to get rid of the fizz, you know, you just don't cut the fizz frequencies only, but you actually remove a lot of the treble as well, which is not really good, because then your guitar kind of sounds dull, dark, or, you know, like a blanket over your cap. I mean, this is maybe an explanation you were hearing or reading in forums like quite a lot, or quite often, quite a lot of times, something like that. Yeah, so this is it. Passive EQ from Amptweaker, so it doesn't need a power supply. Everything you have to do is you have to hook it up into your FX loop, which is what I will be doing now. Okay, here, let's have a listen. This is the bass sound of the guitar. It's the lead channel of the Peavey Invective, pretty much every knob at 12 o'clock. Except post gain. Post gain is cranked and master volume is extremely low, so it's like really the lowest setting on this amp where you get a natural sound. Okay, so it's just underneath 1 on the scale, and I'm using the onboard boost because I have passive pickups, so I need a little bit more, you know, push. There it is. Okay, so the loop is engaged on the Peavey Invective, so I will just, you know, play a couple of notes and you know, turn up the Defizzerator in the meanwhile. So the more I turn it up, the more of the fizz it removes. And this is the highest of the 3 available settings. So this is the fizz setting, then there is a bass setting and a crackle setting. The bass is lower and the crackle is even lower. Okay, and of course they have different behaviors and hope they remove the fizz. Okay, so let's hear how the fizz setting sounds. Now it's 100%. Okay, and what I really love about this one, it's not changing the character of your tone, it's not changing the voicing, it's really just taking away the fizz, like the very high frequency fizz, and it's great. You know, because the kind of the EQ settings you set on your amp, you know, they stay untouched, so you don't have to correct some treble because it suddenly sounds very dark. Okay, it's just spot on. And let's switch it off so we can A/B it. It's without. With the Defizzerator. Okay, so it really just removes a little bit of the fizz without being too dark, so it's just, and so I really like the setting, you know, cranked, and it gives me really good results when I play in the room. So let's actually go to the next one, which is bass. Okay, so without. Roughly halfway. Full. So you can hear it's getting a lot darker, so it's it's removing a lot more than just the fizz. So it really depends on your amp, because some amps have a very fizzy, you know, treble sound. It really depends on the gain stages of your guitar signal. But technically, on some amps it works. For the Invective, personally, it's too much. I really like the bass setting, but I'm not, you know, I'm not turning down the fizz completely. So with this setting, I'm mostly using like, you know, halfway of the knob. So. You know, this is a setting I would also typically use in the room. Okay, it's really good in my opinion. And let's quickly go to the last one. This is, honestly, this is one I barely use. So this is Crackle. So, you know, the passive EQ, so the Defizzerator now starts even earlier in the frequency range, and it, you know, it starts to remove a little bit of the treble. I think in the most amps it wouldn't be necessary. It's nice to have it, okay, but I don't really think you would use it a lot, because it's actually way too dark when you engage it, and it's similar to using the presence control. By the way, this is one of the problems you have. You know, many people say, if you ask Google, okay, and you are Googling for, you know, how to get rid of fizz on my guitar, and most people will say use less gain, use darker caps, and you know, turn down presence. And the problem with the presence knob is that, you know, I was measuring this on a lot of different amps, and the presence knob mostly starts to affect the signal between 1000 and 2000 hertz, so way too early. Like, this is upper mid frequency range, and mostly, you know, especially on the modern amps, you have a specific fizz range at roughly 6,000 to 7,000 hertz. Which is also important for the treble, okay? Because if you attenuate it too much, your guitar sounds dark and kind of, you know, like the guitar amp is sitting in a different room. And, you know, this is the first problem. And the second, you know, frequency range is actually roughly in the 10K hertz range, because you have, you know, there you have a lot of a very high frequency fizz that's coming from the actual gain stages of your preamp, okay? And the Invective typically has this fizz. And the problem is you can't turn it down with the presence knob, because if you turn down the presence knob, you start to affect even lower frequencies, and this will make your guitar sometimes sound dull. So, you know, you also remove the clarity, but in fact, when you want to get rid of the fizz from the distortion, you just want to, you know, remove this specific fizz frequency. And this is where the Defizzerator actually shines, because this is something you cannot do with your presence knob, but when you use the Defizzerator, you can actually set it up this way, and, you know, you can really just get rid of the annoying frequencies without, you know, up your tone, so to say, okay? Right. So let's quickly turn this up. And you can hear it's very, very dark, okay? Actually, the crackle setting is so intense that, you know, it removes so much of your frequency content that your signal sounds quieter. So, in my opinion, it's a little bit too much. Two reasons why I actually chose the Peavey Invective one time. Because of this gain stages and the lead channel design of the Peavey Invective. It's based on a 5150. It's pretty fizzy, especially in bedroom volumes, and the amp is pretty quiet now, so it's turned up just a little bit where it starts to open up and you hit the higher frequencies. And the second reason is less obvious. It's actually because the Amptweaker Defizzerator is created by the same guy who was working at Peavey for 18 years. So he's called James Brown. And he was actually the chief engineer who was designing the 5150 together with Eddie van Halen, okay? So he knows fizzy amps, and he also made the pedal that, you know, is trying to remove the fizz from fizzy amps. So I think he really knows, you know, how to attack the fizz with some kind of equalizer. and I think it works pretty well, okay? It's a really cool tool if you want to get rid of the fizz, because it allows you to attack frequencies that your EQ and presence knobs on your amp usually do not allow. So, you know, it really is, you know, very good for tweaking your amp. And I mean, it's like the company's name, it's called Amptweaker for a reason, okay? And I think James Brown was doing a really good job developing this pedal, because, like I said, he was working for Peavey. He was actually, you know, engineering the 5150 based on, you know, based on Eddie van Halen's feedback. And I think, you know, he is the right person who really knows how to tackle the fizz problems of these guitar amps. Okay. So another tip I want to give you is that, you know, if you maybe have an EQ pedal and you don't really want to use or buy some new equipment to get rid of the fizz, what you can also try to do is you place the EQ pedal in your FX loop and try to seek for the fizzy frequencies. But you know, sometimes you end up, you know, changing too much of your amp sound. So you know, the Defizzerator is, in my opinion, like a very nice secret weapon when you actually want to dial out just a little bit of the fizz. Okay, it works very good, and because it's passive, it's nice to have, and you don't need a power supply, so you can just plug it in wherever you want in any kind of amp. Everything you need is actually just an FX loop, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so be ready to go, turn the knob, and the fizz is gone. And this is why I really love this little unit. And I have to say, since I have it, I'm actually using my you know, all the tube pads for bedroom practice. Again, because in the past 6-7 years I was not doing this, because I mean, I'm living in an apartment, I got 6 different neighbors, so I think they're going to complain pretty easily when I crank these amps up. So I was using a modeling combo, and well, it's just not a real deal, okay? I think you understand what I mean. And it's really nice, because with this one you can actually dial out the fizz, and then you can play all of your, you know, beloved amps at bedroom volume for practice again. And I think it's a really great investment in my opinion. So I'm not paid by Amptweaker, okay? So I made this video on my own because I just want to share with you, you know, what kind of tricks and, you know, nice gear there is. So nobody's paying for this, and I was paying this pedal myself, so I didn't even, you know, get it for free. So you can trust me on this one, and if you like, you know, give it a try.